Hello, Aurora here. Did you know a single shot sparked 6 days of chaos in 1960s New York? It all began on July 16, 1964, when off-duty officer Thomas Gilligan fatally shot 15-year-old James Powell. This incident ignited the Harlem Riot, a powder keg of long-simmering racial tensions. For 6 days, Harlem burned with rage, violence spilling into Brooklyn and Queens. Protesters clashed with police, stores were looted, and property vandalized. The uprising wasn't just about one shooting, it was years of discrimination boiling over. By July 22nd, the dust settled. 1 dead, over 100 injured, and more than 450 arrested. This wasn't the end, it was just the beginning of a summer of unrest across America. The Harlem Riot of '64 became a wake-up call for social change. What do you think? How far have we come since 1964? Drop your thoughts below. Don't forget to share this reel and follow for more mind-blowing history facts.
Social injustice.
But violence proved inevitable. In Maryland, police dogs used to disperse a more unruly demonstration inflicted many bites. Several demonstrators were arrested. White supremacists and Klansmen moved openly in the 10 South.
The day of the sit-in, the lie-in, the crawl-in, the cry-in, and the beg-in is outdated.
Midsummer brought to the sweltering Negro areas of the North a new phase of racial relations. In Harlem, the funeral of a teenager who had been shot by a policeman set off demonstrations against alleged police brutality. The demonstrations rapidly degenerated into wanton looting and rioting. The violence spread like plague to other northern Negro communities. In Rochester, New York, gangs of youths who had taken virtual control of portions of the city were not subdued until squads of state police moved in to assist local officers. Racial awareness in 1964 had reached deep into the subconscious of white and Negro alike, revealing unsuspected depths of bitterness.
This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 10, and it reads, For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rahakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barzal, a prophet of doom from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. And this opening scripture, Obadiah 1 and 10, I'll read it again. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So this is talking to and about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man who is the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4. And this is just another installment of our camp series, going over the history of this devil and what he has done to the true Israelites of the Bible. Okay. And it goes on, it talks about his violence, and this, as Christopher Columbus once said, he never put down his sword. And we know that this devil is, killing us to this very day and getting away with it. All right. But not for long. All right. Because the tides are turning and the curses are turning. All right. And then it says, shame shall cover thee. That's why you want to censor people on the internet. All of your freaking history is being exposed. Okay, everything that you've done. All right. And now you're trying to find ways to hide it. It's too late. All right. The whole world knows who the real devil is. All right. It's you pink, pale, pasty bastards. Okay. that have run this world. All right. And now you are ashamed of it. All right. That's why you fighting so hard to take control of any a platform that exposes you. All right. And it says, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Well, just like you tried to, and currently trying to get rid of the true Israelites, so that lie can go on forever. That's happening right now over in the state of Israel. Okay, just like you trying to get rid of us. No, it's falling back on you. All right, the so-called white man, Esau, Edom. All right, the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, nobody fits that description other than you. All right, now we have some wicked jakes, which you want to perish right along with you, but no, that's you. All right. So before I get into this article, I just once again I want to declare a fair use, according to the Copyright Act of 1976, under the guidelines as set forth in Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. All right, fair use. All right, and this is the article. Topic that's going to be covered today is the Harlem Race Riot of 1964. You saw a couple of clips on it at the beginning, and just to go through it. All right, and this article comes from blackpast.org, which has documented this. And without further ado, I'll go ahead and get right into it. The Harlem Race Riot of 1964 says, in 1964, Harlem Riot was one of a number of race-based uprisings, protests that took place in multiple cities across the United States during the 1960s. As elsewhere, Harlem blacks reacted to racial discrimination, segregation, police brutality, and social injustices that dominated their lives. They resorted to violence to express their disgust with the system. Ironically, the Harlem Riot occurred just 2 weeks after the 1964 Civil Rights Act, and our video last week, was surrounded by rights of the Israelites, the so-called African Americans, on this filthy place called the United States of America. All right, the massacre in Ocoee, Florida, in 1920. All surrounded around election, so-called African Americans voting, all right, and the violence that just took place, all because of that. And they were so-called citizens of the United States, according to the 14th Amendment of 1868, yet could not be afforded the rights of citizens. But that's what this devil does. He's a fucking hypocrite, all right? He says, back at the top, ironically, the Harlem Riot occurred just 2 weeks after the 1964 Civil Rights Act was signed into law by President Lyndon B. Johnson. The act, which outlawed discrimination based on race, color, sex, religion, and nationality, was the most sweeping measure ever adopted by the nation to guarantee social justice. All right, and there still hasn't been any, and we're in 2025. All right. It says the irony lies in the fact that while the Civil Rights Act made it illegal to discriminate against a U.S. citizen based on race or color, the discriminatory socioeconomic systems and structures long in place in the nation did not change with this new law. All right, and still hasn't changed. The Harlem Uprising began on July 16, 1964, when 15-year-old James Powell was shot and killed by a white off-duty police officer, Lieutenant Thomas Gilligan. The Harlem community was infuriated by the murder, which it viewed as an unnecessary example of police brutality. Many Harlemites were convinced that Officer Gilligan, a war veteran and an experienced police officer, could have found a way to arrest and subdue Powell without using deadly force. The first 2 days following the shooting saw peaceful protesting in Harlem and other areas of New York City, New York. However, on July 18th, some of the protesters went to the Harlem police station calling for the resignation or termination of Officer Gilligan. The police officers were on guard outside the building, and as tensions grew, some in the crowd began to throwing bricks and bottles and rocks at the officers who waited in the crowd using their nightsticks. Interesting. Bricks, bottles, just like at these protests most recently, you know, all of a sudden pallets of bricks show up on site. Isn't that something? All right. Continuing on, when the word of the confrontation spread, rioting ensued first in Harlem and then spread into Bedford Stuyvesant, the black and Puerto Rican section of Brooklyn. The race riot in the two boroughs of New York City lasted 6 days. It included breaking windows, looting, vandalism, and setting a variety of local businesses on fire. When the rebellion ended on July 22nd, one black resident was killed. There were more than 100 injuries, 450 arrests, and around $1 million in property damage. And we can only imagine the who was all arrested and who all suffered those injuries. Jake, all right, says the Harlem uprising was the beginning of a series of violent confrontations with the police in more than a dozen cities throughout the North, including Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the New Jersey cities of Jersey City, Patterson, and Elizabeth, as well as Chicago, which is Dixmoor, Illinois, making it the most violent in terms of urban rioting since 1919. All right, stuff hasn't changed. It says these rebellions, as well as civil rights protests, mainly in the South, helped designate the summer of 1964 as the long, hot summer. All right, and that's what they do. They put names on stuff that they're primarily responsible for, you know, as a demarcation of history. But yeah, this thing where the thing where Jake, you know, I definitely understand the frustrations. But you know, you destroying your own neighborhoods. All right, they already redline and don't put funds, resources into the upkeep of those neighborhoods as they do Edomite or so-called neighborhoods of white people. We know that for a fact. All right. And now what you've done is just made it ready to move everyone out, take your home, okay, and redevelop it. You know, sell your homes for a real cheap price. You know, they sell it for 3, 4 times as much, all right, and make the property valuable. So Jake has to think when it comes to things like this. All right, but yeah, that obviously, according to the article and the videos, nothing ever happened to that officer. This is the book of Psalms 73 and 5. And it reads, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. All right, so this is an off-duty police officer, you know, off-duty, probably not even in uniform, you know. How was this kid supposed to know, you know, who he was? All right. It based on the article and the clips, it's unclear what happened. But you know, hey, uh, they they have a thing for shooting unarmed black men. All right. You just had those 2 cops murdered. They didn't put them on the news. All right. We definitely, uh, based on history, what was the guy's name? John McCoy III. It's been about 2 or 3 days since I looked up the story. They've probably revealed him now. But when it was hot and circulating around, they never showed the face. They only gave a name. All right? So you end up pretty much knowing who committed the crime. If it was a Jake, they show you right away. All right? And then you go into the history of your whole life. You know, he wouldn't sit down in his seat in kindergarten. You know, he drew on the wall with his crayons. You know, they dig deep to put you in a bad light. All right. And this is the thing, you know, because, you know, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. You know, right now they can go around doing pretty much what they want to do. with no repercussions. And the prophets are sighing and crying aloud daily. How long do we have to stay under this devil's rulership? You know, and once you come into this wisdom and understand what's going on, man, it you know, our forefathers, they didn't consider, like the Lord says, Israel does not consider, the ramifications of being disobedient to our laws, statutes, and commandments. All right. It says, they are not plagued like another man. No record of this guy, not only not even being resigning or terminated, probably still on the job, especially back then, 1964. It didn't matter about Jake down in the street, all right, as it doesn't matter now. All right. Verse 6, it says, therefore, because they don't get in trouble, pride compasseth about them as a chain. Violence covered them. Violence covered them as a garment. All right. Because they know there will be no repercussions for their actions. They wax worse and worse with their violence and their brutality. And it's about to get worse. In this day, Trump just deleted the the database on police officers with bad conduct. Not only are they going to get rehired somewhere else again, they're going to be worse than what they were before they lost their jobs. That's just the way it is. All right. Just a bunch of terrible individuals. That he is the wicked for a reason. He is the sword of the Lord, according to Psalms 17:13. And Jay got to understand that. Just like the scriptures say, this dude is not stopped. The days are being shortened, because if they're not, there will be no flesh saved. All right. He threatens everything that comes in his path. All right. And then get mad, when you don't have any empathy for him or you expose him. Man, fuck you. It's time for you to be done, gone, so this earth can be in peace. And we sign and crying to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That doom, that prophet of doom, is not only the end of, when we say the end of the world, it's the end of an aeon. Okay, that word world, going to the Greek definition, aeon mean the end of a rulership, end of an age. All right, which means the end of you, Esau, Edom. You have to go according to the scriptures because of your wickedness. All right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 10, beginning in verse 8. And it reads, He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. Okay? Always watching for a way that, you can bring harm to Jake. You murder the innocent. Okay? And when we say, and we know no one perishes being innocent according to the scriptures, but in that generation, you just be sitting on a park bench. They come up and bother you. What are you doing here? Somebody called, making up shit, not bothering anybody. You just find your way. Like online, you see these clips where, Jake minding their own business. They just put their camera on. And what does it say? No matter what you do, you always be on watch by a white person. Because one of the reasons is they cannot understand how you can be treated so bad and we can find peace. But don't get it twisted. Ecclesiastes 7:7. So let me grab that and I'll come back to this. says, surely oppression make a wise man mad, and a gift destroys the heart. See, that oppression, that wise man, today, right now, is his prophets of doom. Okay? Because we have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Not only knowing who we are, knowing who you are, and don't trust your ass. At the same time, can't stand being under this rulership, and pleading and praying, sending out prayers that they pierce in the clouds for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to come back and get rid of your ass. Bring this world back to where it's supposed to be under the true rulership of the Israelites. All right? And that's going to happen, and you all know it too. All right? That's why you're coming down with great wrath, according to Revelation 12:12. All right? Because you know your time is up. Yep. That's why you're moving hastily, exposing yourself on every front. Even your own people are telling on you. All right? Back to Psalms 10. Verse 9. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And that's what you do. You over police the neighborhoods, after you put drugs in them, That's what you do. That's your net. You leaving train cars are open, full of ammunition, guns. Put that sneaker truck in the Chicago neighborhood not too long ago, leaving it open, knowing it's a trap for the kids who don't have anything to go in and steal. All right? And then go arrest them. You know what you all did. Just sat a truck there and let it stay there. Come on now. Of all brand new shoes. Makes no sense. Well, it does make sense. That's you always, you got a perpetual hatred for us. All right? It says, he croucheth and humble himself, that the poor may fall by the strong ones. And who is the strong ones? The military. All right? The police. That's what's in the neighborhoods. All right? Verse 11. He hath said in his heart, in his mind, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai hath forgotten. He hideth his face. He will never see it. And that's where you're wrong. All right? That is where you're wrong when you say the Lord will never see it. All right? This is the book of Proverbs. Chapter 20, verse 27. And it reads, the spirit of a man is the candle of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, searching all the inward parts of the belly. All right? So, yeah, he is the father, he's the father of spirits. Created all of them. You don't think he knows his own creation? Let me get that in the NLT. Proverbs chapter 20, NLT being on the right side of the screen, says, the Lord's light penetrates the human spirit, exposing every hidden motive. You said you don't think he sees you. Yeah, the scriptures say his eyes, are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, knowing every work of every man. All right. And then just when you don't think he's looking, that's when he, pulls up on you, creates that judgment. You'll get that in Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 23. All right. He sees everything. All right. And you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to pay. But that's because you have no regard for the power of the Lord. Hebrews 10:31 tells us it is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living power. All right. Let's get this. Sirach 43. It's in the Apocrypha, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 43, verse 29. And it reads, "The Lord is terrible and very great, and marvelous is his power." This is what you're going to be dealing with for touching the apple of Yahweh Bashem Yahshua's eye, which is the nation of Israel, all 12 tribes. Okay, not the Israelis, those are Edomites, Amalek, the Uish people, the small hatters with the turds hanging off the sides of their face. Not talking about y'all. You all are the imposters. All right, straight up imposters. And to hijack the whole nationality. Shem had 5 sons. And many, many, many Shemitic families came out of those 5 sons. And you're going to hijack it to yourself. And that evidence is out there. All right? You're going to play in our faces like it's not. But you've been found a liar. Okay? So yeah, the Lord's going to deal with you in the most treacherous way, just like you dealt treacherously with us. All right? This is the book of Amos 1 and 11. And it reads, "Thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, that's endless sin on top of sin. He says, I will not turn away the punishment thereof." So he did see you. You have to give an account for your works. Every man, when they stand before the judgment seat, must give an account for their works, be they good or evil. All right? He says, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because he did pursue his brother, Jacob, the 12 tribes of Israel, with the sword, and did cast off all pity. You had no mercy whatsoever. And his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever, even to this very day. You show no mercy. And that wrath against Jacob is never ending. Going into their neighborhoods just because you can. The power was in your hand. That's going to come to an end. All right? That is coming to an end. Thus saith this prophet the doom. All right? According to the scriptures. Yep. You had no mercy. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 109, beginning at verse 12. And it reads, "Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, neither let there be any to favor his fatherless children." All right? What the fatherless children? That means somebody getting taken out. All right? It says, "Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out." No more Edom. Ever again. Edom, the so-called white man, you will never exist again. Thus said the scriptures. See, you want to say you Christians and believe in the Bible, you won't read this part. All right? This is about you. All right? Verse 14 says, "Let the iniquity of his fathers be remembered with Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out." She gonna get punished too. All right? The whole nation. Yep. But a lot of those Edomite women, you're gonna play a big role, in repopulating the earth with Israelite children. Some of you do it now. You know better. But when the time comes, because Edom's gonna be gone. All right? And let it be known, what saying is, no such thing as biracial. Whatever the father is, that's what the child is. All right? Women don't have seed. Whatever the father is, that's what the child is. Numbers 1 and 18. All right? Verse 15. Let them be before Yahweh Bashem Yahushai continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. Sounds like doom to me. This is what you got to look forward to for all of your iniquity that you're doing now and the iniquity you're trying to hide. All right. Verse 16, because that he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and the needy man, Israelites, beginning with the elect man, that he might even slay the broken in heart. All right. Even while we down, you continue. That's why that Amos 1:11 kept his wrath forever, your perpetual hatred. All right. Verse 17 says, as he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted not in blessing, so let it be far from him. And that goes into Deuteronomy 30:7. Just like in 28, the Lord said, if you do these things, you keep this law, you shall be blessed. If you don't keep the law, you're going to be cursed. You know, that blessings, Deuteronomy 28:1-14, and the curses, Deuteronomy 28:15-68. Just that straightforward. All right. It says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Just told you who that was. Now, every nation has put their hands on us, but not like Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Not like you, not even close. You know, the fucking absolute worst. The base man of this planet, the worst ever. Okay? And that's going to be corrected. All right? So, yeah, these curses are now coming on you. And you're going to be blotted out. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, the end of verse 21. Okay, it says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Okay, so for you all saying today, well, we had nothing to do with it, those were our ancestors, we weren't there, doesn't matter. Exodus 20:5 says, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is a jealous God. You know, he's going to visit the iniquities upon the third and fourth generation. And right here is very clear. You have to pay for the sins of your father. That's because you are your fathers. All right? The same way we had to. All right? The Lord has the option to deal with nations or an individual man, according to Job 34:29. All right. And we know, according to when it came to us, according to Daniel chapter 9, verses 9-14, not only did he deal with, he said that all Israel have sinned. Okay. That's why he poured out those curses according to the law of Moses. Deuteronomy 28, verse 15-68. He said all Israel have transgressed. Even the judges who was over us at the time, you know, over Israel, they weren't spared. I mean, their judgment probably wasn't as bad as the more wicked ones, you know. But hey, he didn't let up, you know. Jeremiah, the prophet, the only one who knows where the Ark of the Covenant is. All right. What happened to him? You know, Jeremiah 17:4. Lord told him, thou, even thou, will I discontinue you from your heritage. You know, took his heritage away. So he judged the whole nation, you know, and that's what's going to happen to you. You know, that's going back to what it said, that word posterity that was in, let me go back to that right quick and I'll come back. Psalms chapter 109. All right. verse 13. He says, let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out. Yeah, so posterity goes back to the progenitor of a nation. Okay? And then it talks about all future generations. So yeah, the whole seed line will be judged and ultimately blotted out. You know, you go on into slavery, according to uh, twice as long and twice as hard, according to Revelation chapter 18, verse 5 and 6. All right, and then after you done with your slavery, Obadiah 1 and 18, you going bye-bye forever. All right, back to that Isaiah 14. All right. Again, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. You know, you will never be in rulership again anywhere on the planet. You know, Revelation 13:10. He who led into captivity must go into captivity. He who killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. This is the patience and the faith of the saints. You must pay, and you will pay. Not for this instance of this article I just read, but for everything that you did that we know of and the things we don't know of. Because in that day, it's all going to be revealed. You know, those angels are doing their job, having recording everything that you've done in history. All right, because they already know you're going to do it. That's where it's laid out. That's where you don't understand the Most High. You know, he's declared the end from the beginning. All right. He knew every wicked move you was going to make before you even made it. And now you're going to pay for it in the worst way. And we can't wait, because it's going to be by the hand of his people. All right. Thus says the scriptures in Obadiah 1 and 18. All right. It says, for I will rise up against them, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So yeah, the whole nation is going to be done away with when that time comes. So your best bet, you better pray. You know, you're an Israelite by blood. You know, you just happen to look like an Edomite. You better pray, because if you're not, you know, it's about to get real bad out here. Like I was saying, you know, once it started to happen with the men that are going to have to pay, hey, here's the one thing those men don't understand. You know, women love power, or they do. They do love power. You know, I was just watching the video yesterday. Apostle Gabar, all right, talking about the black woman, you know, and just roughly paraphrasing, and how this guy saying how easy it is to clap a black woman's cheeks. And he was, you know, going in on, you know, the hairstyles, the most popular hairstyles they use to look like white women, and they're not, you know. But yeah, your whole nation is going to be taken out. But it's talking about your whole seed line right here. First it talked about the fathers, now the son and the nephew. But what did the woman say? Job 27 and 15. And those that remain of him, colon, all right, and we already know that what comes after a colon substantiates what was said before it, all right? It says, and his widows shall not weep. Yeah. So while we are righteously wiping out the seed line of Edom, women ain't gonna cry for you. They look for safety and security. That's all of them. All right. Safety and security. And, you know, but eventually, like, the whole nation has to go. But they will have their part in, you know, repopulating the earth. And once the last one is done, goodbye. All right. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who rule well in teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba Baba. You got to pay for what you did, Esau, and you're going to. Thus says the prophet of doom. All right, Shalom.